Here's another tutorial for you guys. I'm going to show you how to do an eye and eyebrows. This should be something that you save for the end. I love doing eyes. The details are so beautiful. I kind of like to treat it like dessert, like it's the last thing I'm going to do in my picture, and I'm really excited to do it, but I'm going to save it for the end. A lot of people try to do that first, and they just end up getting it smudged and messing it up. So really make sure you save that for the end. Start out by tracing the outline of your eye and your eyebrow, but don't draw in all the eyelashes, don't draw in all the hairs of your eyebrow. I'm just gonna color over my eyebrow, thinking about where the shadows and highlights are. So this is my darker skin color. I've got a lighter skin color here that would go above, like on the arch and above my eyebrow. A little bit lighter on my eyelid, maybe my bottom eyelid as well. And underneath, there's going to probably be some bit of a shadow. You might have a bit of a highlight that goes right under your eyebrow there. You can add a little bit of white to lighten up your highlights again. But make sure you get all of this blending done around your eye before you do any of the details of the eye itself. Of course, you can blend with your finger, or you can do the baby oil trick that we showed in a previous tutorial, but for now, for time's sake, I'm not going to do any blending, and I like to not do blending anyway because the texture is so beautiful. So I got all my shading done around and under my eye. Clean off those little bits there. And now I'm not going to do the hairs yet. The eyelashes and the eyebrow will save for later. I'm going to do the eye itself. So starting with a clean oil pastel. This is still really dirty, so I need to clean that off on a paper towel, just twisting it in there. Let me get my towel here. Make sure that white is nice and clean. So I'm going to start off with the whites of the eye, make sure there's no little flecks in there. And the nice thing about the white is that it's pretty opaque. But if you get stuff in there, hey, guess what? The whites of your eye are not going to actually stay white. They get shaded too. Now I forgot to grab any red, but I'll just go ahead and do this like a skin color in here. A little bit darker on the sides. Then I'm going to slowly start darkening things. I have brown eyes, but with my expressive color scheme, I'm just going to say I have blue eyes because that's what I was using for like my nose and everything else. Now the top part of your eye is going to have some shading. So go back and forth with your white and whatever color you're using to shade. And yes, the whites of your eyeball are actually like some sort of gray or shaded tone. Don't do the pupil yet. Save that black for your pupil later. And I'm going to make my eye blue. But first, before I do any color, I'm going to put a highlight in my eye. And if all my light's coming from this way, my highlight's probably actually going to hit down here because this part is in shadow, right? So my highlight, I'm going to put a little white right there to preserve the white there. All right, so now I'm going to go in around the edges of my eye first, and the top is going to be darker. Be very careful around your edges to keep them neat. So it's more dark at the top. I'll use my light blue down here at the bottom around that highlight. And I'm just pretending the pupil's not even there for now. And I'll use my medium blue over here. And I really encourage you not to use your finger to blend too much in your eye because your finger is big and fat and it's going to mess it up. So just use the oil pastels themselves or use one of those extender pastels. And make sure you leave some of that highlight perfectly white so that it's shiny and expressive. The eyes pull you in. And then finally, black for the pupil. And you want the pupil to be kind of big. A bigger pupil is more inviting to your viewer, but I'm going to leave some of it white, so I'm not going to completely fill in that circle. And finally, I'm going to do my eyelashes. Now, the thing with eyelashes, you don't want to look like Minnie Mouse. You don't want them all just going straight up. Especially you guys, you probably don't want to look like you're wearing mascara, but you do still have eyelashes. Sorry to tell you, you have eyelashes. So we're going to start towards the nose side, and you're going to actually choose the color that your hair is. Unless you are actually wearing mascara in your picture that's black, you're going to choose your natural hair color. And we're going to find like the pointiest part. Maybe I'll use like a corner of my pastel, and they point out and they go different directions. And then as you get to your pupil, they kind of are short and go straight up. And then as you get out towards the side, they're going to go out the other way. And they let them crisscross each other. Even let some of them go down over your eye itself. You can't really see that one. And don't do too many. You don't want to have a big mass of lashes. And then a few on the bottom as well, same thing. You start towards the nose, going towards the nose. And then they come out straight down. And your bottom layer of lashes is going to be shorter and more sparse. Now I'm going to add a little bit of black right at the base to give them some shading, some shadow. And when I do my eyebrows, it's going to be similar. See, I just went over it with skin color, and now I'm going to go back in with my hair color and put all these little individual lines. They start going kind of straight up. Sometimes they even kind of go inwards a bit. That gives it lots of nice character. And just be careful to do individual little lines that slowly start turning out towards like the ear. And at the top, some of them even face down. If you don't believe me, look in a mirror really closely at your eyebrows. And if some of them go outside the lines, that's okay. The natural look is in, right? I'm going to add a little bit of black because I have really dark hair. But you might use like a yellow ochre for this if you have blonde hair. Maybe you just use like your expressive colors. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit of blue in there, because I did that in my hair and everywhere else, so why not? Just on the bottom side where I want it to be a little darker. Remember the shading. Over here, my skin color is darker, so I'm going to use some darker colors over here. While over here, my skin color is lighter, so I'm going to leave that to my lighter colors. You want to have a little bit of skin showing through, so don't fill it in completely. And that is how I recommend doing your eyes.